Here's my version of freezing of gait. Why aren't we where we are supposed to be? First of all, the definition of freezing of gait is confusing, misleading, not well understood. If freezing of gait is a temporary phenomenon, why are we so concerned about it? Shouldn't we be more concerned about the inability to produce mobility at all when we can't walk? Freezing, I think, is a lot of things, or the inability to walk is a lot of things. I think we've missed the fact that it's primarily a fear of falling, that our body is locking up so that we don't walk and fall and hurt ourselves. As part of the physiological fear state, the brain has placed a parking brake, so to speak, on the body. I think this is similar to what happens to healthy people in various types of situations when they're in a state of anxiety or their brain is trying to encourage them to do something. It might not be safe or cause embarrassment or shame or cause a person to stand out, and they're fighting against themselves, so to speak. We've misunderstood what a prediction machine the brain actually is. When we predict it, we're not going to be able to walk safely. Our body kicks into a biological state that prevents walking. When we predict that we can walk safely, a biological state allowing walking should occur. It's not all about belief, but it is a large part of it. And I find that it needs to be a reason to believe, evidence-based belief, that one can successfully move without hurting themselves. Usually it's only walking that the brain prevents the action of. You can oftentimes walk backwards, swim, ride a bike, jog, sometimes jump or skip, many things. But just conventional walking, that is the basis of the freeze, so to speak. There are numerous other ways of escaping the freeze and escaping the physiological state that causes the freeze or the inability to move. Both the way we study and the motivation for the study of human movement are not conducive to finding answers in practical terms for what moves people and what prevents people from moving. Since the phenomenon of paradoxical kinesia shows us that we do have this ability to move in various ways at various times with Parkinson's, even with debilitating Parkinson's, we should be studying why aren't we able to move at any time? What is it that's preventing us? What's holding us back from moving? Why has the brake been put on movement, and how can we release that brake? We've missed the fact that the nervous system is in like a survival state, and by comforting the nervous system, we can escape that state. How do we feel about ourselves? What our motivations are, our anxiety levels, stress. They all play a huge factor in our ability to move and the reasons why we cannot. We've obviously disregarded the mind aspect of the mind-body far too much in thinking about how movement is created. We've overlooked the individual and the fluctuating level of movement within each person. I find I'm often not just getting rid of freezing, I'm completely eliminating debilitating Parkinson's as a result of low or little medication. Changing my state can eliminate tremor, really all my symptoms, or most for some period of time. We've done a very poor job of understanding what freezing or lack of mobility feels like to a person with Parkinson's. That's a big telling factor. We can feel, if we're paying close attention, we can feel what our body's going through, or what our mind is telling us, or what the brain's instructions are. And if we've escaped a debilitating Parkinson's once, the brain realizes it can do it again. And that memory allows us an easier time to do it in the future. I think we've done a terrible job of recognizing how much we've excluded the patient voice, from the study of freezing of gait and lack of mobility. As much as we've studied this phenomenon, we've come up with very little that's actually helped the patient on a day-to-day basis. There's so much struggling with freezing and inability to move, and none of the patients understand. We have done a terrible job of communicating to patients, even the little bit that we do know. There are numerous ways of comforting the nervous system. I've found that people, human contact, a hug is one of the better ways. This study is about so much more than the freezing that a person with Parkinson's experiences. It's about Parkinson's itself. It's about the fear. It goes hand in hand with Parkinson's. It's about fear that people with or without Parkinson's experience. It's about nervous disorder. It's about nervousness and the nervous system's reluctance or willingness to go along with what our intentions are, with what our will is. It's so much bigger, and this is just a peek into it. It's a very complex issue. Not at all. I'm not saying it's easy at all to study, but we have missed so many things. We have to start acknowledging when we make mistakes so we can correct them. We need to have more fun. This is extremely fascinating stuff. It has applications to so many things. We shouldn't fear failing. We shouldn't fear making a mistake or going in the wrong direction. We just have to try many different things. Be bold. Work together. Believe we can, just like walking.